Randy, welcome to the show. The floor is yours. Give us the lowdown on insurance.
Thank you, Ryan, and hello to everybody watching this. So basically, there's some challenging times in the industry, even before the COVID situation. Really, the wildfire issues have been an ongoing problem in Southern California. In the last couple of years, it's come to a bit of a head. So one thing to be aware of is when you're putting an offer on a home, Ryan's working with you on that. Check with your insurance agent or broker before to make sure that it's not an area, because there are outlying areas in the county and even some areas that you wouldn't expect that are off limits for almost all the insurance companies. One area in particular is the zip code of not to get too specific, but the zip codes of 92117 and 92111, which is in the Claremont area. We never had any issues with that whatsoever, but now in the last year or two, there are pockets in there that are right on canyons, and they're off limits according to the fire line score. The fire line score is a standardized mechanism where insurance carriers determine what the risks are for the wildfires. So those are areas that some people would be really surprised that it's difficult or sometimes impossible. There is an entity called the California Fair Plan. I don't know if you've heard of that, Ryan. Have you heard of the California? It's basically a last resort homeowners insurance. So if you find yourself in a situation where you can't obtain Farmers or a normal, reputable, mainstream company, the California Fair Plan is an option. It doesn't cover a lot of things that you would like, such as personal liability, slip and fall, or theft of your belongings, or a burst pipe water damage. But it will give you the fire insurance that the lender requires for you to close and to qualify for a loan. So it is a good thing that you can march forward and go ahead and still buy the house. Not a complete policy, but definitely better than nothing. So that's an area that is a challenge today. Another point of interest in regards to renter's insurance. Renter's insurance is extremely important for tenants, obviously, to cover your belongings. But from a homeowner's point of view, if you own a rental property or an investment property, it's really important to have a lease agreement written up. And I'm sure Ryan can advise further on the details of how to do that. But that would require, or at least strongly encourage, the tenant to carry renter's insurance. Because what happens is tenants usually figure that if anything happens, it's on the landlord. But what they don't realize is if there is a burst pipe and they can't live there, the landlord's not going to pay for them to stay in a hotel. The landlord may discount the couple weeks that you can't stay there because of the water damage, but it costs an awful lot for temporary housing. So renter's insurance is very inexpensive. It's about $130 a year, $10 a month. Pretty much a no-brainer. It'll cover your belongings. And for the homeowner, it'll just eliminate a lot of headaches and potential lawsuits that the tenant may try to throw at you for stuff that happens that they're not covered for. So those are two main issues. Another issue that we're seeing a lot of, that's always been an issue since my 29 years in the insurance business, is replacement cost. So when a house burns down, I don't know if you know anybody, Ryan, who's lost a home in a fire or not, but I've seen a few over the years. But what always seems to happen is the cost of rebuilding the home is way more than you think, incredibly more expensive. Number one, you have things like debris removal, demolition of the existing structure. There's haul away costs for the debris. There could be asbestos treatment, and things have to be packaged and specially hauled So just that, before you even put a nail in rebuilding the house, you can rack up $30, $40, $50,000. So when you insure your home, you got to pay special attention to how much is on the dwelling coverage on homeowners. And that dwelling is, it just goes really quick because the contractor and the permits fees, architecture fees, engineering costs, all of that goes into rebuilding a home, much, much more expensive than you would think. Particularly if the home has upgrades, but even a basic home in San Diego County today is just, my best advice is go with a high deductible and just go as high as you can on the dwelling cost. If you think you're insured enough, add another 20 or 30% to it. It's a prudent practice, and money well spent. So those are the main areas that I would say we're seeing the most issues on, that could be the most important as it relates to your clientele, Ryan, and potential clientele.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love it. I love it. Are there any big changes that you can discuss and share with everybody about maybe something that's changed due to the coronavirus, or something that you see once we come out of this, or as we are more and more coming out of this, that you're going to see being different than it was before?
I haven't seen anything directly related to that with respect to homeowners insurance. Auto insurance carriers are discounting for lesser driving, but that's kind of off our topic a little bit. But no, I haven't seen anything in relation to homeowners insurance on the COVID issue. There has been questions with regard to if you're a landlord and you own a rental and your tenant can't live there, if the homeowner's insurance is going to pay for that as a claim, because the tenant, can't pay for it, and they might say that the virus should be a covered loss, but that's something that's excluded in homeowners policies. So as a landlord, if your tenant can't pay due to the virus, you're not going to be able to claim that. Even commercial policies for buildings and industrial units and office buildings, insurance companies are not covering loss of rents due to the virus. So it's a really difficult situation that we're in, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like homeowners is paying for that type of situation for landlords.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Anything else that we need to know?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. If any off the wall questions come to you, I'm happy to answer them, of course. Oh yeah, one more thing really quick. Okay. With regard to claims, we have seen some issues where, the landlord has a claim on a rental property and the water restoration company maybe is not being let in because the tenant doesn't want to let people in the house. So it is important that you go with a very reputable water restoration company. Most homeowners carriers, including farmers, we have a rapport with one particular water restoration company that is very reputable and follows all the protocol, so that customers and tenants can feel safe of somebody coming in their house and not being endangering the family. So I think that's an important consideration.
All right. That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, we do have a few questions that had come in ahead of time. Everybody knew that we were bringing on an insurance expert. So we do have some questions. We'll see if any others come in. We'll save all those for the end. Sure. All right, cool.